Hi everybody, this is Dino Chris from Prehistoric Facts, and this is another Answering Questions episode. And so, I got two questions today, and they're all from YouTube. Why not do that, okay? Alright, the first question comes from Alvaro, and he actually asked me, what do you think will win a battle, a Stegosaurus or a Saurophaganax? Well, let's compare the two animals. Both of them were actually from the Jurassic period, nearly the same time, and basically Stegosaurus, basically 25 to 30 feet long. You got those plates on the back, and you got the thagomizer spikes on the tail, and basically medium, well armored type of dinosaur. And then you got Saurophaganax, which is basically 40 feet long. Pretty much an Allosaurus with a double dose of steroids. And then basically, even though we still don't know how much of a skeleton we really have of Saurophaganax, I mean, all we did is basically maximize some of the Allosaurus bones that were actually around, and basically just kind of make it more like an Allosaurus. But anyway. Saurophaganax, giant carnivorous dinosaur, and then basically you go up against Stegosaurus. Now, when we actually look at these two animals, I would say Saurophaganax usually probably wouldn't go after Stegosaurus that much, and so I would probably say that so if you're talking about two healthy adults going at each other, Saurophaganax is not going to mess with a healthy Stegosaurus, because basically Stegosaurus would actually just stand really still and basically show off the plates to kind of flush blood to the plates to make them like a red or pink type of color, and then basically try to warn the Saurophaganax, like say, stay away from me, because if you come at me, I will hurt you, basically, that kind of thing. And I would actually say that but even though Saurophaganax could deliver some damage with the teeth, with biting, and also those claws, but I would say Stegosaurus would probably win this one, because due to the fact that if you go after an animal that is actually has 3 foot long tail spikes, you're not really gonna. That's not a pretty way to get injured. I mean, that's basically you're going in with a knife, and then basically your opponent has got a mace, like a medieval mace, basically, and basically you got no chance. And so basically you really have to outmaneuver the Stegosaurus, and basically Saurophaganax could probably outmaneuver Stegosaurus if it could, in order to win the battle, and also inflict some damage, probably like on the sides and all that. But basically, would have to be very careful in order to actually try to attack a Stegosaurus. But I'd say Stegosaurus would win more often than Saurophaganax would. But even though when Saurophaganax probably actually did kill a Stegosaurus, it probably be the fact that it probably the Stegosaurus was injured, or otherwise a young Stegosaurus, or otherwise it probably a really old Stegosaurus, and basically probably how it would actually win against a Stegosaurus. But basically, a healthy adult, not going to be a good chance for Saurophaganax, even though Stegosaurus is my favorite herbivorous dinosaur. And we actually got another question from YouTube, from somebody in YouTube, and he actually asked me, where do I get my fossils and my replicas from? Now, I will tell you this: the episode that I actually did about my fossils, and also my fossil replicas that I actually have in my collection, basically. Majority of the fossils that I actually get are actually from rock and gem shows. Basically shows that actually display not only basically rocks, minerals, some gemmy minerals. You got some metal as well, like copper, aluminum, and also you actually have some of your fossils that are actually shown in this as well. And basically, majority of the fossils that I collected are actually from rock and gem shows. But even though I actually have gone out fossil hunting as well, I have actually done fossil hunting myself. I had the great privilege of going to South Dakota last year for a regional field trip for school, and basically went to a couple localities in South Dakota. I can't really give you where they are because my memory's not that great, and also I can't really actually have you actually go out there and actually expect you to actually think you can wander around and actually collect anything. But basically, we went to a couple sites where basically you can actually collect sea life, basically, but you couldn't collect big vertebrates because basically we were at periods where we were at the Cretaceous limestone and shale deposits that were actually in South Dakota, and you see, if you found the mosasaur tooth, you can't take it with you because because that's not something to collect. That's not something to collect out of free will, because basically wise, government usually says that if you collect anything that is actually a vertebrate fossil, you leave it alone. But basically, if you have found it, contact a museum or otherwise basically museum where they might actually have the ability to actually go down and have a paleontologist kind of take a look at it. But I've actually collected some invertebrate stuff, basically like imprints of clamshells. I have actually found a piece of fish vertebrae. It's very small. It's like about this big, and I collected that. I also got some ammonite shells and all that kind of stuff. You can collect shark teeth in those locations. I didn't find any shark teeth, but somebody did it in the group. But basically, I didn't really have. I had a really lucky shot. I didn't really have that much luck in finding shark teeth, but I found a good portion of it. And you see, that collection is still growing, and basically collecting fossils and all that kind of stuff out in the field, that kind of stuff. Now, as for the replicas, I've actually bought them online, basically, because online it's the best way to go to actually get replicas. And replicas are kind of better at collecting than the actual fossil, because basically, say if you want a Tyrannosaurus Rex tooth, you're better off going with a replica, because basically, if you actually try to buy a Tyrannosaurus Rex tooth out of the internet, majority of them are actually over $1,000, or basically $1,000 or more. And basically, it's just because it's based on every inch of tooth is $1,000, or otherwise $10,000. And basically, that's a lot of money, and I don't have that kind of money, and so. But I do have a piece of a Tyrannosaurus Rex tooth, and that cost me, that was not that bad. I got that out of the Black Hills Institute of Geological Research Museum in Hill City, South Dakota, and it was a reasonable price. And basically, it's the part of the tooth where you actually have the serrations, and so that was awesome. I'm glad I got that. But some of because basically most of my replicas come from online and all that kind of stuff, and all those kinds of places. I can't really give you the internet sites, but if you actually look up dinosaur fossil replicas, like on Google or Bing, in any search engine, you can actually find multiple places where they actually do sell fossil replicas of dinosaurs, prehistoric mammals, marine reptiles, birds, you name it. And the greatest thing I actually have done, and the most expensive thing I actually have bought, is actually this Tyrannosaurus Rex skull. basically the 1/9 scale of Stan's skull, and it's an amazing replica. And it's basically off the actual scans of every bone of the skull of Stan, and so this thing is actually amazing. And I'm glad I got it, but it was the most expensive thing I actually bought. But the next Tyrannosaurus Rex thing I'm actually trying to think about getting is probably Sue's arm, where basically it's in the Black Hills Institute of Geological Research museum site, where you can actually buy some replicas, but some of them are going to be very expensive. So if you don't have that much money, just probably go with a site that probably has cheaper ones in store. But basically, it's just that probably go with the smaller replicas first, because basically it's better off. Like teeth, claws, skull models are actually a good thing, because you see they're not actually out of the actual skull. It's basically just a miniature sculpture of the skull. And so I would actually say probably go with that route. But even though if you're still thinking of, if you still want like a piece of the skull, or otherwise any like say the mandible, the part of the jaw, or otherwise maybe the maxilla, because maxillas are very popular in terms of collecting replicas. That's a good way to go. But basically, teeth and claws are the least expensive, because basically those are actually going to be very, very well sellable, and so I would give you that. And also probably make sure that the site is actually safe for you to actually buy those fossil replicas, because there are some sites where they are not safe, because if you type in your credit card information, you probably have your credit card information being hacked, and you don't want that. You don't want that at all. Nobody wants to be a victim of identity theft and all that kind of stuff. So just make sure that the site is safe, because most of the sites that I've actually gotten my fossil replicas on are very safe, and just make sure that there's no problems with the website, and also make sure to look at reviews of some of those websites too, because sometimes if there's bad reviews, like say you didn't get your replica in time in the mail or anything like that, or otherwise there was a problem with the application of ordering what you need, because just make sure that the site is actually easy to access, and also make sure you can actually put in your credit card information very safely, because most of the sites I've gone to, they have actually done them very, very, very well. And also, if you're still looking at collecting replicas, some museums do replicas too. So, but majority of the time they're going to be very expensive. So probably go with that route. But if you want to collect fossils, because also when you're actually at rock and gem shows and you got some of those fossil collectors, ask them questions all the time. Ask them where do these fossils come from, and also did they really actually find the fossil? Well, I wouldn't actually go that far, but like say, where do these fossils come from, and also like what rock formation they came from, that kind of stuff, because you need to know that kind of information, because also you don't know if they really did get those fossils illegally, because you see there's paperwork that actually has to be done with some of these fossil collectors that are selling fossils on the in rock and gem shows. So be aware if they're not, but basically because also look up those fossil collectors websites, or otherwise check their credibility to make sure that they are professional fossil collectors, and they actually do the paperwork properly, because you don't want to have the thing where Pete Larson actually had that issue with sue, and so that kind of thing. So, but even though there are some places out there where it is free to the public to actually go and search for fossils, but also if it's basically but basically if the land is owned if the land is actually owned by somebody else, make sure you ask permission to actually go and search for fossils on their property, because sometimes most of them would say no, because they don't want any of their property damaged. And basically it's their land, and also if they want to venture out into that land, and basically if they find anything, they usually contact a museum, basically. And also if they do give you permission, just tell them what you found, because that way it's better off for you to actually like ask permission to see if it's okay for you to collect. If they say no to you collecting anything, then just give it to them, because it's their property. But basically sometimes you don't know what their intentions are. Sometimes they might sell it in the black market to make quick money or anything like that. But be sure to look up the credentials of some of those fossil collectors. Alright, that's it for now. Now next Saturday I'll be back at home in my hometown, and I'll still be running a special episode. Now I'm going to give a little bit more time for you guys to actually give me a prehistoric animal that you want me to talk about. So I'll probably do the episode on Sunday on the 17th. So that would actually be the best time for me, because I'm going to be a little exhausted from moving back in my hometown, because since it's finals week this week, so I got to study for some finals. But anyway, special episode will be on Sunday, May 17th. So I'll post a link up a list of dinosaur names on my Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts with Dino Chris. Like the page, you can actually tell me what kind of prehistoric animal you want me to talk about. It could be a dinosaur, it could be a sea monster, it could be a prehistoric mammal, it could be a prehistoric bird, or a crocodile, or whatever, but mainly vertebrates is my focus. Vertebrates are my focus. And also you can still send me questions by emailing me at dinocris71@gmail.com, or other ways you can go on the Facebook page, Prehistoric Facts of Dino Chris. Like the page, you can actually post the questions in the comments section on any Facebook post. But make sure you keep your questions short and to the point. I will allow questions to be in the comments of my videos on YouTube. So make sure you keep your questions short and to the point, and also that way I can actually read them. And be sure to possibly put down the city, state, or country of where you're from. That way I can actually know where it came from. And I'll just say your first name. That's all I'm going to do. And also you can follow me on Twitter at CSGRALL. That's my Twitter account, and you can actually follow me there. I post some pretty cool stuff there, and also take care of the people around you. And also for younger people out there, make sure to listen to your parents, your teachers, and your guardians. Those are the best motivation you can have for a good education. It's very important to have a good education, because with a good education, you get a good job in the future. Alright, that's it for now, and I'll see you guys on Sunday on the 17th.